Hey there, history hounds and travel junkies. You know how some people collect stamps or shot glasses or those little hotel soaps? Well, I collect ancient ruins. Yep, crumbling walls, moss-covered statues, the whole shebang. And let me tell you, there's nothing quite like standing in the shadow of something built by people thousands of years ago. It's humbling, it's awe-inspiring, and okay, sometimes it's a little bit dusty. Over the next few weeks, we're going to be hopping, skipping and jumping, well, maybe not literally, those ancient steps can be treacherous, across continents to explore some of the most fascinating, hilarious, and downright bizarre ancient ruins this planet has to offer. We'll uncover the mysteries of Stonehenge, wander through the lost city of Petra, and maybe, just maybe, figure out what the heck those Moai statues on Easter Island are all about. From the jungles of South America to the deserts of Egypt, we'll be digging deep into the past, unearthing forgotten stories and trying not to spill our coffee on any priceless artifacts. So buckle up, grab your imaginary passport, and get ready for an adventure that's equal parts educational and entertaining. Because trust me, history is way more fun when you're not stuck in a stuffy classroom. Our first stop, Ayutthaya, Thailand. This place was once the capital of the mighty Siamese kingdom, a bustling hub of trade, culture, and, well, parties. Seriously, these folks knew how to have a good time. Imagine a city crisscrossed by canals with majestic temples glinting in the sun, elephants strolling down the street, and markets overflowing with exotic goods. Yeah, Ayutthaya was the place to be. For over 400 years, Ayutthaya thrived, growing into a powerful empire and a center of global trade. We're talking serious wealth, stunning architecture, and a vibrant artistic scene. Think of it as the New York City of its day, only with more elephants and probably a lot less pizza. But hey, you can't have it all, right? But like all good parties, Ayutthaya's reign couldn't last forever. Enter the Burmese, stage left, with a serious case of FOMO, fear of missing out, and a burning desire to, well, burn things. In the 18th century, they sacked the city, leaving behind a trail of destruction and a whole lot of unanswered questions. Talk about a buzzkill. Next up, we're off to England to visit Stonehenge. You know, that circle of giant rocks that's been puzzling people for, about 5,000 years? Seriously, who built this thing and why? Was it a giant calendar? A landing pad for alien spaceships? A really, really elaborate game of prehistoric ring toss? We've got theories, people, lots of theories. Some say it was a temple for sun worship, a place to commune with the gods, or maybe just a really big BBQ pit for woolly mammoths. Okay, that last one might be a stretch, but you have to admit it's fun to imagine our ancestors gathered around a giant stone barbecue, arguing over who forgot the mammoth burgers. But seriously, Stonehenge is one of those places that just screams mystery. It's like the ultimate unsolved puzzle, except instead of cardboard pieces, you've got multi-ton stones that make you feel really, really small. How did they move those things? What did they use them for? And why does it look like a giant game of prehistoric Tetris? Okay, history fans, buckle up. We're ditching the pyramids and temples for this one. Don't worry, we'll be back to those soon enough, and heading to the stunning landscapes of Colorado's Mesa Verde National Park. Imagine this, sheer cliffs, rugged canyons, and nestled right into those cliffs like swallows' nests made of stone, are the dwellings of the ancestral Pueblo people. These weren't your typical cavemen, folks. These were sophisticated architects, skilled farmers, and dare I say, trendsetters in sustainable living. Forget yurts, forget tiny homes. These guys were all about that cliffside condo life, centuries before it was cool. And when I say condos, I'm not kidding. We're talking hundreds of rooms, folks. Some with ceilings so high you could practically fit a whole other dwelling in there. Okay, maybe not a whole dwelling, but definitely a really ambitious game of prehistoric basketball. They had storage units for their maize and beans, kivas. These were like the community centers of their day, and even plazas where they probably held dances and festivals. Seriously, can you imagine the view from those parties? Talk about an Instagram-worthy sunset. Alright folks, pack your climbing gear and your sense of adventure because we're off to Sri Lanka, the pearl of the Indian Ocean. And trust me, this next stop is a real gem, Sigiriya, also known as Lion Rock. Now forget your average everyday castle on a hilltop. These guys in ancient Sri Lanka, they decided to, well, up the ante. Picture this, a massive rock formation jutting out of the jungle like a petrified giant, towering over the surrounding plains. That, my friends, is Sigiriya. And back in the 5th century AD, King Kasyapa decided to turn this natural wonder into his own personal fortress palace. Now I know what you're thinking, John. Building a palace on top of a giant rock sounds like a logistical nightmare, and also maybe a tad extra, and you wouldn't be wrong. But hey, who are we to judge the architectural whims of a king who probably had people to fan him with palm fronds all day? The point is, this wasn't just about defense, folks. This was a statement. It was King Kasyapa basically saying, yeah, I'm in charge and my palace is literally on another level. Okay, adventurers, prepare to be transported to the dramatic landscapes of Israel, where history unfolds like a Hollywood epic, complete with stunning scenery, political intrigue, and, well, a touch of tragedy. Welcome to Masada, a fortress perched atop a plateau overlooking the desolate beauty of the Judean desert. Now, before we get to the drama, let's talk about the setting, because, folks, this place is seriously epic. Imagine sheer cliffs, breathtaking views of the Dead Sea shimmering in the distance, and this almost otherworldly silence that hangs in the air. It's enough to make you want to write poetry, or at least contemplate the vastness of time and history. But back in the 1st century BC, this wasn't exactly a place for peaceful contemplation. It was King Herod the Great, the same guy who, according to the Bible, wasn't too fond of baby Jesus, who decided to build himself a lavish winter palace here. And when I say lavish, I mean we're talking swimming pools, bathhouses, storehouses stocked with enough food to feed an army for years. Basically, everything a king needs to ride out a siege in style. Little did he know how important those fortifications would become. Okay, history fans, buckle up because we're heading to Hampi, India, a place that's basically the poster child for gone but not forgotten. Seriously, this was once the 2nd largest medieval city in the world, right after Beijing. Imagine a bustling metropolis overflowing with riches, a major center of trade, and ruled by kings with names so long you'd need a scroll just to write them down. But here's the thing about empires. Sometimes they crumble faster than a cookie in a backpack. By the 16th century, Hampi was sacked and abandoned, leaving behind a haunting landscape of ruins that are somehow both beautiful and a little bit melancholy. But hey, that's history for you, equal parts awe-inspiring and kind of a bummer. But enough about empires collapsing, let's talk about what makes Hampi so cool to visit today. For starters, picture this. Ancient temples carved out of giant boulders, balanced precariously and seemingly defying gravity. It's like the Flintstones decided to get really into architecture, and honestly, I'm here for it. And as if gravity-defying temples weren't enough, legend has it that Hampi was the inspiration for the mythical kingdom of Kishkinda in the Ramayana, an epic Hindu poem. So, yeah, we're talking about a place steeped in history, mythology, and enough photo ops to fill your Instagram feed for, like, ever. Alright, history buffs, let's get real for a second. Sometimes the past is more tragic disaster than romantic adventure, and Pompeii, my friends, is a prime example. This Roman city was basically frozen in time by a volcanic eruption so massive, so destructive, that it makes your average natural disaster look like a light drizzle. We're talking about Mount Vesuvius, a volcano so notorious, it makes its own pizza oven look like a child's toy. In 79 AD, Vesuvius blew its top, burying Pompeii under a thick layer of ash and pumice. And let's just say, things did not end well for the residents. Imagine, you're going about your day, maybe grabbing some grapes at the market, writing a strongly worded letter on a wax tablet, when suddenly, BAM! The sky turns black, the ground shakes, and hot ash starts raining down like volcanic confetti. Not exactly the kind of vacation brochure they were handing out in ancient Rome. But here's the thing about Pompeii that's both fascinating and a little bit eerie. Because it was buried so quickly, it's like a snapshot of Roman life in the 1st century. We're talking about perfectly preserved houses, shops, even graffiti. Turns out teenagers have been leaving their mark on walls for centuries. It's a sobering reminder that even in the midst of everyday life, disaster can strike. Alright adventurers, pack your sunscreen and your sense of wonder because we're heading to Tulum, Mexico, where ancient Mayan ruins meet the sparkling turquoise waters of the Caribbean Sea. This isn't your average dusty archaeological site, folks. Tulum is the kind of place that makes you want to ditch your history books, grab a margarita, and just soak up the beauty of it all. Imagine towering temples perched precariously on cliffs, overlooking white sand beaches and water so clear you can practically see the ancient Mayan gods chilling on the ocean floor. Okay, maybe not, but you get the idea. Tulum was a major trading port for the Mayan civilization, a hub of commerce, culture, and probably some epic beach parties. It was also one of the last Mayan cities to fall to the Spanish conquistadors, holding out until the 16th century. Talk about going out with a bang. But enough about history for a second. Let's talk about the real reason you came here: the views. Seriously, the views from Tulum's ruins are the kind that make you want to quit your job, sell all your possessions, and become a beach bum. Or, at least post a really envy-inducing Instagram story. Okay, history enthusiasts, buckle up those sandals because we're time-traveling back to ancient Rome, specifically to Ephesus. Now, Ephesus wasn't just any Roman city. Oh no, this place was basically the Las Vegas of its time, bustling, glamorous, and full of more drama than a season of, well, you get the picture. Imagine strolling down streets paved with marble, the sun glinting off grand temples dedicated to gods you've probably only read about in mythology books. And those togas? They were all the rage. Though I can't promise they were as comfortable as your sweatpants. Ephesus was home to one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, the Temple of Artemis. Sadly, all that remains today is a single lonely column. But hey, even in ruins, this city knows how to make a statement. It's like that friend who shows up to a party in a ripped t-shirt and still manages to be the most interesting person in the room. And let's not forget about the Library of Celsus, a masterpiece of Roman architecture that once housed thousands of scrolls. Just imagine the philosophical debates, the juicy gossip, the lost works of literary genius that once filled these halls. It's enough to make a history nerd like me weep with envy. From the bustling streets of Ephesus, we're traveling east to the breathtaking Ellora Caves in India. Now, these aren't your average caves, folks. We're talking about a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a testament to human dedication and a serious case of how did they even do that. Imagine spending decades, even centuries, meticulously carving intricate temples, monasteries, and sculptures directly into a sheer rock face. No backhoes, no power tools, just sheer willpower, chisels, and probably a whole lot of sweat. The Ellora Caves are a stunning example of rock-cut architecture, spanning over 2 kilometers and showcasing the talents of 3 different religions: Buddhism, Hinduism, and Jainism. It's like a history textbook come to life, a visual representation of India's rich and diverse religious past. And the piece de resistance? The Kailasa Temple, a colossal monolithic structure dedicated to Lord Shiva. This thing is so massive, so awe-inspiring, it makes the pyramids look like Lego projects. Seriously, you could spend a whole day just staring up at it, trying to wrap your head around the sheer scale and artistry. From the serene caves of Ellora, we're venturing into the heart of China to meet an army unlike any other. No, they don't have laser beams or spaceships, but what they lack in futuristic weaponry, they more than make up for in sheer numbers and historical significance. Get ready to meet the Terracotta Army, over 8,000 life-size clay soldiers, each one unique, standing guard over the tomb of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang. Now that's what I call commitment to job security. Imagine stumbling upon this army for the first time. Thousands of clay warriors, frozen in time, their expressions a mixture of stoicism and quiet menace. It's enough to give even the bravest adventurer a serious case of the chills. These clay soldiers weren't just randomly thrown together though. Oh no, each one was meticulously crafted with individual features, hairstyles, and even armor details. It's like the emperor wanted to make sure that even in the afterlife, his army reflected the diversity and might of his empire. Hey there, history buffs! Today, we're venturing deep into the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico to explore the wonders of Chichen Itza. This ancient Mayan city is like stepping into a history book, only way more interesting because, you know, it's not a history book. And speaking of interesting, let's talk about this pyramid. This, my friends, is El Castillo, also known as the Temple of Kukulkan. Now this isn't just any pyramid, it's like the Swiss Army knife of pyramids. It's a temple, a calendar, and a testament to the Mayans' incredible understanding of astronomy and mathematics. See, each side of the pyramid has 91 steps, and with the top platform, that adds up to 365, the number of days in a year. Coincidence? I think not, but wait, there's more. During the spring and autumn equinoxes, the sunlight creates a shadow on the pyramid that looks like a giant serpent slithering down the steps. It's like the Mayans were saying, hey, we're awesome at architecture, astronomy, and special effects. Get ready to channel your inner philosopher, everyone, because we're heading to Athens, Greece, home of the Acropolis. This rocky hilltop isn't just a pretty face, though. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a symbol of democracy, Western civilization, and, well, really impressive architecture. Up here, high above the city, you'll find the remnants of ancient temples, theaters, and buildings that have inspired artists, architects, and thinkers for centuries. It's like the original think tank, only with more marble and fewer PowerPoint presentations. The most famous building on the Acropolis is, of course, the Parthenon. This temple, dedicated to the goddess Athena, is basically the poster child for ancient Greek architecture. It's got those iconic columns, that perfect symmetry, and a history that's as dramatic as a Greek tragedy. Seriously, this building has seen it all. Fires, wars, explosions, you name it. But through it all, the Parthenon still stands, a testament to the enduring legacy of ancient Greece, and a reminder that even in the face of adversity, beauty and knowledge can prevail. Plus, let's be real, it looks really good in photos. Pack your bags and grab your sunscreen, history fans, because we're off to Bagan, Myanmar. This ancient city is like something out of an Indiana Jones movie, only with fewer booby traps and more temples. Seriously, there are thousands of them, spread out across a vast plain, like a giant game of historical hide-and-seek. Now you might be wondering, why so many temples? Well, back in its heyday, between the 9th and 13th centuries, Bagan was a powerful kingdom and a major center of Theravada Buddhism. And what better way to show your devotion than by building a temple, or two, or a few thousand? These temples weren't just built for show, though. They were places of worship, learning, and community centers. Imagine monks debating philosophy, artists painting intricate murals, and locals gathering for festivals, all within the shadow of these magnificent structures. Hey there, history buffs and adventure seekers. Today we're trekking deep into the Guatemalan jungle, a place teeming with howler monkeys, jaguars, and maybe even the occasional archaeologist. Our destination, Tikal, one of the largest and most impressive Mayan cities ever uncovered. Now I know what you're thinking, John, jungles are hot, humid, and full of bugs. Why can't we just explore ancient ruins in like a climate-controlled museum? And to that I say, where's your sense of adventure? Plus, museums don't usually have spider monkeys swinging from the rafters. Tikal, you see, wasn't just some sleepy little village. This was a bustling metropolis, a major center of Mayan civilization for over 1,000 years. At its peak, it was home to tens of thousands of people, all living, working, and I assume, occasionally losing their keys in this sprawling jungle city. Talk about a nightmare for your average house cat. And the Mayans didn't just build houses here. Oh no, they constructed massive temples, palaces, and pyramids, all intricately carved and reaching for the sky. They were basically the overachievers of ancient architecture, and trust me, they put those pyramids in Egypt to shame. Okay, maybe not to shame, but they definitely gave them a run for their money. Okay, history fans, buckle up because we're headed to Egypt, land of pharaohs, pyramids, and enough ancient history to make your head spin faster than a hieroglyph in a sandstorm. And our destination? Karnak, a temple complex so massive, so awe-inspiring that it makes other ancient ruins look like Lego sets. Now you know how much I love a good pyramid. I mean, who doesn't love a good pyramid? But even I have to admit, Karnak is on a whole other level. This isn't just a temple, it's a sprawling city of gods, a testament to the power and ambition of the pharaohs who built it over centuries. Imagine walking through a forest, but instead of trees you're surrounded by towering columns, each one intricately carved with hieroglyphics and images of gods and goddesses. The air hums with the energy of thousands of years of history, of rituals and ceremonies, of the hopes and dreams of a civilization long gone. Yeah, Karnak is basically the world's most impressive open-air museum. And just when you think you've seen it all, you stumble upon the Great Hypostyle Hall, a space so vast, so grand, that it makes your average cathedral look like a walk-in closet. Seriously, this place is so big you could comfortably park a Boeing 747 in here and still have room for a chariot race or two. Namaste, everyone, and welcome to Indonesia, a land of lush jungles, pristine beaches, and some of the most stunning ancient ruins this side of the equator. And today, we're visiting a true masterpiece of Buddhist architecture, Borobudur, a massive temple complex that's basically the Mount Everest of religious monuments. Now, I know what you're thinking. John, another temple? Haven't we seen enough temples to last a lifetime? And to that, I say, you can never have too much of a good thing, especially when it comes to ancient wonders. Plus, Borobudur isn't just any temple, it's a towering symbol of peace, enlightenment, and the human desire to connect with something larger than ourselves. Imagine a vast stone pyramid, rising out of the heart of a lush green valley, its terraces adorned with intricate carvings and hundreds upon hundreds of Buddha statues, each one serene and contemplative. It's like something out of a dream. A vision of tranquility and spiritual awakening. Built in the 9th century, Borobudur was abandoned for centuries, swallowed by the jungle, and forgotten by the outside world. It wasn't until the early 19th century that it was rediscovered, its stone terraces peeking out from beneath centuries of vegetation like a forgotten treasure. Okay, so we've looked at some pretty cool ruins. We've seen places destroyed by war or natural disaster, but Teotihuacan is different. This place was already in ruins before the Aztecs even showed up. Can you imagine just stumbling across a city this size? Talk about a fixer-upper. The Aztecs, they were pretty impressed, to say the least. They named it Teotihuacan, which means the place where the gods were created because, well, who else could have built something this epic? It's like finding a smartphone in a medieval castle and assuming it was made by wizards. Except instead of a smartphone, it's a sprawling metropolis with pyramids taller than the Statue of Liberty. And speaking of pyramids, Teotihuacan has some seriously impressive ones. The Pyramid of the Sun, the third largest pyramid in the world, dominates the landscape, a testament to the engineering prowess of, well, we don't actually know who. And then there's the Pyramid of the Moon, smaller but equally impressive, presiding over the Avenue of the Dead, a grand boulevard that was once the heart of the city. But here's the thing about Teotihuacan. We have no idea who built it. Seriously, it's one of archaeology's biggest unsolved mysteries. We're talking about a city that was once home to over 100,000 people, with complex urban planning, sophisticated drainage systems, and stunning murals, yet no written records, no names of rulers, no clue who the brilliant minds were behind it all. Alright, let's go to one of the most remote places on Earth, Easter Island. This tiny island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean is home to one of archaeology's most enduring mysteries, the Moai. Picture this, you're sailing across the vast Pacific, no land in sight for days. And then, on the horizon, these giant stone heads start to appear. It would be enough to make even the most seasoned sailor question if they'd accidentally stumbled into a lost world. These massive statues, carved from volcanic rock, stand guard over the island, their stoic expressions gazing out at the sea. There are nearly 900 of them, some standing tall and proud, others toppled over, seemingly frozen in time mid-fall. But here's the thing about the moai. We don't know exactly why they were built or how they were moved. The people who carved them, the Rapa Nui, didn't leave behind any written records. So we're left to piece together their story from the archaeological evidence and oral histories. From the remote mysteries of Easter Island, we journey to the heart of one of history's most influential empires, Rome. And when it comes to Roman ruins, the Colosseum is about as iconic as it gets. This wasn't just another amphitheater, it was the ultimate entertainment venue, a place where gladiators clashed, wild animals roared, and the roar of the crowd could shake the very foundations of Rome. Imagine a stadium so grand, so imposing that it could hold over 50,000 spectators, all eager for a spectacle unlike any other. The Colosseum is a testament to Roman engineering and architectural prowess. Built over 2,000 years ago, it was the largest amphitheater ever constructed, a symbol of Roman power and ingenuity. Can you imagine the crowds, the noise, the excitement, as people from all walks of life gathered to witness these incredible events? And speaking of events, the Colosseum didn't disappoint. We're talking gladiatorial combat, public executions, mock sea battles. They actually flooded the arena. And even animal hunts featuring exotic creatures brought from the far reaches of the empire. Okay, so, the Great Wall of China, it's iconic, it's massive, it's longer than I even want to think about walking. Seriously, this thing snakes across mountains and deserts for thousands of miles. Thousands! And the crazy thing is, it wasn't built all at once. Nope. This was a multi-century, multi-dynasty project. We're talking emperors, we're talking forced labor, not exactly a fun time for those folks. We're talking a whole lot of bricks and mortar. But hey, at least they got some exercise, right? All those steps must have been great for their glutes. I mean, that is assuming they didn't die of exhaustion or, get attacked by Mongols first. Alright folks, get ready to have your minds blown by Petra, Jordan, also known as the Rose City. And yes, it's even more impressive in person than it was in Indiana Jones. This ancient city was carved directly into sheer sandstone cliffs by the Nabateans, a super-skilled trading civilization. I mean, talk about commitment. Imagine spending years, maybe even generations, carving elaborate temples, tombs, and even a theater out of solid rock. No power tools, no dynamite, just good old-fashioned chisels and elbow grease. And the result? Okay, adventure seekers, buckle up because we're heading to Machu Picchu, the lost city of the Incas, nestled high in the Andes Mountains of Peru. This place is the stuff of legends. Seriously, it was built by the Incas in the 15th century, used for about a century, and then abandoned. And get this, the Spanish conquistadors, who weren't exactly known for their stellar observation skills, never even found it. It wasn't until 1911 that an American explorer named Hiram Bingham stumbled upon Machu Picchu, basically by accident. Can you imagine just happening upon this incredible lost city? Talk about a good day for history, and maybe a slightly confusing one for the llamas. Alright, intrepid explorers, buckle up because we're about to dive headfirst into the Cambodian jungle to explore Angkor, a sprawling temple complex that's basically the ancient world's answer to Disneyland. Angkor was once the heart of the Khmer Empire, a powerful kingdom that ruled much of Southeast Asia. These guys were like the rock stars of their time, building massive temples and monuments. But then, the Khmer Empire eventually came to an end, leaving Angkor to be slowly swallowed by the jungle. For centuries, Angkor lay hidden beneath a thick canopy of trees, its secrets guarded by monkeys. It wasn't until the 19th century that French explorers rediscovered this lost city. And let me tell you, those French explorers must have felt like they'd hit the jackpot. Imagine hacking through the jungle and suddenly coming face to face with a giant stone face. That's Angkor Thom, the last capital of the Khmer Empire. Those faces are supposed to be King Jayavarman VII, the guy who built the place. Talk about leaving your mark on the world. Okay, history fans, we've reached the granddaddy of them all. The ancient wonder that makes Stonehenge look like a pile of Legos left out in the rain. The Pyramids of Giza. Massive, awe-inspiring structures that have stood for millennia. Monuments to the ingenuity and sweat of the ancient Egyptians. These pyramids were elaborate tombs for pharaohs, who were considered gods on earth. They were filled with gold, jewels, and provisions for the afterlife. But we still don't know exactly how they were built. Theories abound, but the scale is mind-boggling. And then there's the Great Sphinx, an enigmatic creature with the body of a lion and the head of a pharaoh. Some say it represents the pharaoh Khafre, while others believe it holds ancient secrets. The Sphinx is a reminder of the ancient Egyptians' mastery of symbolism and mystery. Well, fellow history buffs, we've reached the end of our whirlwind tour of ancient ruins. We've explored crumbling temples, marveled at colossal pyramids, and maybe even learned a thing or two about the civilizations that came before us. From the jungles of Cambodia to the deserts of Egypt, we've uncovered the stories etched into these ancient stones, proving that history isn't just something you read in a textbook. It's a living, breathing thing that surrounds us. I hope these journeys through time have sparked your curiosity and inspired you to learn more about the past, because history isn't just about dates and names, it's about people, their stories, and the incredible things they accomplished. So, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep those history books handy. If you enjoyed this epic adventure through time, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more explorations of the past. And be sure to let me know in the comments which ancient ruin you'd most like to visit. Who knows, maybe we'll make your travel dreams a reality in a future video. Until then, keep those imaginations firing, and remember, the past may be gone, but it's never truly forgotten.